Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome. Well, in today's video, I am going to talk to you about the number one thing that is holding you back on your GLP-1 journey. So if this is not you, stay tuned because you may learn some information that could very well help a family member or a friend. These GLP-1 medications are powerful. They really are. They have been life-changing for me, but they're not magic. They are not a magic tool or ticket to weight loss. I have lost 82 pounds, and I am beyond excited about that. And I'm going to tell you, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. This is the number one thing that I know, and research also says holds people back. And that is, what do you think it is? Well, I'm going to tell you, it is inconsistent habits and unrealistic expectations, right? Those are two things. And I know I said this is the number one thing, but they kind of work hand in hand. Because when you have unrealistic expectations, you're definitely going to be inconsistent with your journey because you're going to get very discouraged about what is happening. So I'm going to talk to you about what the research says and how we can fix it. All right. So stick around to the end because I have a tool that can help you along on this journey. So here's what inconsistent habits and unrealistic expectations can look like. I can relate to this because I have learned on this journey that being perfect is not what's important. It's about being consistent. And being consistent means showing up most of the time and doing all the things that we need to do to move us ahead in this journey. So here's what it looks like. You stop eating because you're nauseous, right? You get nauseous, you get sick, you stop eating, which leads to undereating. And when you're not eating, you're not having energy. And when you don't have energy, it trickles down to everything else. You're not working out. You're not doing the things that you love to do because you don't have the energy to do it. So I want you to make sure that if you're feeling nauseous, take care of that early on. Eat more protein right before your injection. Make sure you are protein heavy. Make sure you are eating protein and leading with protein in your meals. That's the first thing you eat throughout the day. And you could just work on those little small portions if you're having a hard time eating. Another way it may show up is you lose 10 pounds in a month, and you think that that's going to happen every month thereafter. Well, that's not necessarily true. It's not going to happen every month. But some people think that if they had a month where they lost 10 or 15 pounds, especially when they first start, that expectation follows them. And when it doesn't happen, they get discouraged and then they don't stay consistent. Another way it may show up is you're not drinking enough water, you're not sleeping, you're not eating correctly, you're skipping that protein. That's also going to be inconsistent and a habit that you don't want to start and keep up with. Those are habits we don't want to keep. And then another example is you expect the meds to do all the work without any effort. So I know a lot of people come into this and we're told, like I was told, this is going to reduce your appetite. That's all you need to do. But I learned over time, I didn't learn right away, but I learned over time, in order for the medication to do the best job for me and my body, I also had to give it some assistance, right? And what is that? That's all the things. What are all the things? All the things are eating that protein, doing some strength training, moving your body, taking some walks here and there or getting movement in, however you get the movement in. Getting sleep and drinking water. All those things are going to really help you along on your journey. And when people don't do that or they're very inconsistent with it, then they don't get the results they need. So what does the research say? So this part I'm just going to read to you because whenever I talk about research, I want to get it right. So studies show that most successful GLP-1 users aren't just relying on the meds. And we knew that, right? If you've been in this community for a long time, you know that people that are successful are doing other things and not just taking their injection and just not thinking about it. They're also actively involved in the lifestyle changes. So what are those? Eating enough protein. There's that protein again, but it's so true. Prioritizing your sleep and your water, hydration, moving your body consistently. Remember, consistently means more days on than more days off, right? It's being consistent, doing something more than you're not doing it. And so staying consistent, they're tracking their progress, even if it's just once a week. They're checking in. They're having some kind of check-in to let them know where they are. And we have learned in this community to track what you're eating, even if you're just tracking your macros, which are your proteins, your carbs, your fats, and also track that fiber. That's going to let us know that we're eating enough. Not so much that we don't want to eat too much, but on this journey, sometimes you have to worry about not eating enough. So that's what tracking is going to do. And the last habit of successful GLP-1 users is practicing patience with the process, not trying to speed things up. If it goes fast, if you're fast and furious, that's okay. Take that too, because that is how your body is responding to the medication. And if that's what your body is doing, let it do it. But some of us aren't going fast and furious, and we're going slow and steady. And that is me. I'm a slow and steady, proud GLP-1 user. But I also liken myself to a turtle, right? I'm moving along steady here. I've been on this for 18 months. I know someone else who's been on this a little bit longer than I have, and she's lost 49 pounds. And, I had to really give her some encouragement and tell her, don't give up. And just think, if she had given up, she wouldn't even be 49 pounds down. The first couple of months, she says she really didn't lose anything at all. A lot of people I'm noticing have the opposite, just from my experience, where they lose a lot up front and then on the back end or in the middle, it kind of slows down and their weight loss tapers off. And so we know a lot goes into that. I'm a type 2 diabetic and I'm also postmenopausal. And I just recently hit that postmenopausal status. And so those are some barriers that have been in my way with the weight loss. And I'm not going to use that as an excuse or a reason to say I give up, I quit. I'm just going to fight through that. I'm going to keep fighting through that and keep doing what I do. And that is being consistent. More times than not, I am doing all the things that I just named. I'm doing all those things. Now, if you're somebody who's saying, oh my gosh, all those things she talked about, I am not a successful GLP-1 user. Well, guess what? You can become a successful GLP-1 user. And so I'm going to tell you how you're going to do that. We're going to call this your reboot plan. Like, what can you do to kind of reboot yourself besides getting off the medication? Okay, so let's talk about it. I'm just going to go through these really quickly. I'm going to leave a link to this checklist in my Stand store, and it's just going to guide you through how to reboot yourself. It is free, so check out the freebie, and let's get your weight loss going again. So the number one thing we want you to do is practice some daily habits. Get in that water. Aim for 64 ounces a day, at least. If you can get in more, great, but don't overdo it. And remember, always check with your doctor before you're taking any advice or incorporating anything new into your routine that your doctor does not know about. Protein, protein, protein. Eat it first. Eat it often. My doctor told me at least 80 grams of protein. My goal is to get between 90 and 120 grams. So that is me, and that is what I'm doing. Please check with your doctor or a healthcare professional about what you should do. Movement. I'm getting that movement in. You need to get that movement in. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just move. Try some chair yoga. Walk 10 minutes after you eat your lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Do something to get moving. I'm just going to add here that strength training is going to be the best exercise that you can do for yourself, because on a GLP-1 journey, we know that muscle loss is a concern. And we don't want to have a lot of muscle loss. We want to get that strength training in 2 to 3 times a week. So you can also use the PEP app to track your side effects and meals. I'm going to put this up. I also have a link to this in my Stand store. Go on there, check out the app. It goes along with your GLP-1 journey, and hopefully it's a good fit for you. And finally, get some sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep if possible. Next, you're going to do a weekly check-in of some sort. So I want you to track one thing that you can be consistent at tracking, right? Consistency is the word of the day in this video. So you want to track either your weight. What if you don't want to track your weight? Track your measurements. What if you don't want to check your measurements? Well, at least take a photo and track your progress with the photos. You can even do that. So we want you tracking something. Celebrate a non-scale victory. If you're watching this channel, you're going to do that, because that's what I do. I celebrate non-scale victories. I'm really big on that. Are your pants fitting better? Are your energy up? Are you doing things you couldn't do before? Track that. If you can't track anything else, that's another way you can track your success on this GLP-1. Plan your meals or prep your meals for the week. This really keeps me focused. I at least prep 3 to 5 days on a Sunday, and that'll carry me through the week for lunch and dinner. So I'm prepping. When I don't prep, I tend to stop and get fast food, and I don't want to do that. And there were some time at one point I was being so consistent, I wasn't even stopping and getting fast food. Guess why? Because I was prepped. I had meals to go. I had snacks and meals on the go, so I didn't have a desire to go out, and I knew I was prepared when I got home. So that helps. Finally, I want you to reflect on your day. I think a lot of times we skip this step. Reflect on your day, reflect on your week, reflect on your month, reflect on your journey. Find time to get that in there. And there are two important things that you want to focus on. What is working and what you should tweak. When you figure out what is working, guess what? Rinse and repeat. Do it again. Do it, and do it again. Do it over and over again because it's working. If there's something that's not working, I'm really big on this. Tweak it, do something else, try something else until you get a good fit. So that's what you want to do. And that really, starting your morning like that really sets the tone for your day. Also, at the end of your day, that's a great time to reflect as well. And the last thing is we're going to have a mindset reset, right? Your mindset has to reset. And this is huge. The most important thing, and if you've been following my journey, I've been saying this for so long, I absolutely mean it. Give yourself grace. Remember, this is progress, not perfection. This journey is not perfection. It's about being consistent. Remember, being consistent is doing something more often than you're not. All right. So you want to make sure you're consistent on this journey. Don't compare yourself to other people. You cannot do it. It's so tempting. And I see people, if they don't compare themselves with the weight loss journey, it's something else, right? That they're comparing themselves to. Do not do that. Do not compare yourself. Stick with your journey, what's going on with yourself. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. That is so true. Another thing you want to do is you want to keep reminding yourself, I am consistent. I'm not perfect. I'm consistent, but not perfect. And actually, I'd rather be consistent than perfect because when you're perfect, it's too much pressure, right? It's too much pressure to always be on top of it. Being consistent gives you that room. Everything's not going to go according to plan every day, all day, but most of the time you're doing all the things. And that final mindset shift I want you to have, and I'm working on this as well, is you're in it for the long haul. This is just not a fad diet. This is just not something I'm doing until I get to my goal weight. This is something I'm going to continue for the rest of my life. I'm going to continue, exercise, and I'm going to continue to eat the whole foods. I'm going to continue to put protein first. I'm going to continue to drink my water and get my sleep, get those extra steps in. So all those things, we want to focus on the long game, not short term. Now, if you're someone who wants to lose as much weight as you can and get off the medication, that's great, but keep those lifestyle changes going. That's going to ensure that you don't gain the weight back. Hopefully. Now, we know research is telling us that a lot of people aren't in that category, that it's the 15%, right? The information we have now that can keep the weight off. So we want to get those lifestyle changes and these habits in place and being consistent so we're not, in that 85% that don't. So I just want you to know I am in this with you. I am 82 pounds down. I still have a ways to go. I'm on that road to 100 pounds. So hopefully you're subscribed to my channel so you could come along with me on that journey. One thing I really want to say before we get to the end of this video is I had times when I wasn't losing. It went weeks and didn't lose, or I even gained a pound or two here and there along my journey. And I'm going to tell you, when that happened, I didn't change my dose. I changed my habits. So I'm going to say that again. I changed my habits. I did not change my dose. Now, you can go that route and you can change your dose, but I tweaked what I was doing. So I want you to just focus on one habit to reboot. I want you to pick for the next week or the next month or a couple months if you want to tackle it for a little bit of a longer time here. I want you to pick one habit that you are going to work on. So here are some ideas for you. Maybe it's drinking 64 ounces of water at least or more, but check with your doctor and make sure that's okay. Maybe it's stopping that late night snacking. I know some of you are snacking out there. Are you snacking late? Is it in your calorie deficit? Even if it is, maybe cut back on those snacks if you're not seeing progress. Maybe it's walking for 10 minutes after dinner. Add that on there. I've added that on to what I'm doing. I try to get up and move after I eat. And that's been a big change for me because I wasn't used to doing that. And maybe it's tracking your meals again. You want to track, maybe just track your macros, track the protein. Start there, track the protein. Are you getting enough protein? And are you getting the protein from your whole food sources? Are you just drinking a bunch of protein shakes? Are you eating a bunch of protein bars? How much of that protein is coming from whole food sources? So I would start there and set a goal and work on that habit. What habit are you willing to reboot this week? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message, or they may be on a GLP-1 journey. And let's just grow together. Let's grow and learn together. I want you to know I go live 3 times a week. So join the Diva fam live. I am live on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. I am live on Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm live on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you need a little extra support, please check out my Stand store for freebies. And I have some great tools in there that could support you on your GLP-1 journey. It's going to help you stay motivated, maybe track your progress, just crush your goals, any goals you may have on this journey. Check out the description for the link of my Stand store. Now, I want you to take great care of yourself. And remember, slow and steady wins the race. Just don't quit.